It's Mel from Movement and You Fitness Coaching. This week we're bringing you a recipe that you can maybe do on Australia Day if you want to stick with that Australian theme of having a barbecue. So we're looking at doing hamburgers with a lot and hot chips. Yeah, real junk food Friday. Here we come. So the first component that we're going to do is the chips. So I'm doing a mix of regular potato and sweet potato, and the skin is still on. So I've scrubbed my sweet potato with a little dish brush. The skin on sweet potato has some of the highest nutritional value in the whole vegetable. So try wherever possible, unless you're mashing it or maybe it just doesn't work out, to leave your skin on sweet potato when you cook it. And have sweet potato more often because it's an excellent vegetable. Incorporate it as a carbohydrate because it does have quite a high sugar content in it. Compared to regular potato, not a great deal of nutritional value. So always try and get some sweet potato in whenever you're having regular potato to make sure you still get your nutritional components. Chips, I like fat chips. You can cut them how you like. Maybe you like scallops, but I love nothing better than a fat chip. So that is how I'm cutting mine. On my tray, baking paper, approximately a tablespoonful of oil, and that's why it's a junk food Friday, because it's 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. In go the chips. So we can do this because it is on a baking sheet of paper. If you do not use the paper, you'll find your potatoes don't really cook very nicely like chips, and they may even stick to your tray. So make sure you use a baking sheet of paper, and the tablespoon of oil is all you will need. Even if you have a few more potatoes than what I've used, you wouldn't need much more than that tablespoon of oil, because the next secret is the temperature that we cook them at. So we make sure we put them into a preheated 200-degree Celsius oven. Now all of this is on the website blog. So you got it. Head to myfitnesscoaching.com.au and download the recipe so you know exactly what to do with your quantities and your cooking times. And I always like to give you a few little nutritional facts and pieces of information and links to websites so you can get more information on how to keep eating well and fueling your body well. So that's the chips done. That's simple. Tossing them really well is a big part of making sure they go nice and brown and cook with that little bit of crispiness. But you can see, if you have your chips like that, you can afford to have chips once a week. Because look at that. Look at that oil. It's virtually like it's not even there. So the best is yet to come when they come out, and you'll see how nice and golden brown they cook. So remember, 200 degrees Celsius oven. And you really don't need to remember because it's on the recipe blog. So head to the website and make sure you download it. So they go into the oven, preheated. They're going to take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes to cook. So they do take a little bit longer to cook with the less oil. But it's worth it so you can enjoy them and they still give you that nutritional content without the high fat content. I'm going to talk you through the rest of the ingredients. So I've got my homemade mincemeat, but once again, as I always explain with my recipes, you don't have to home make yours, but you can see why I do, because it's still so much lower fat than the supermarket product that's classed as 5-star heart healthy. There's virtually no fat in there. I'm going to show you a trick once we start cooking, how to get a nice little hamburger shape. There is egg on our hamburger. So eggs, you saw in my last lot of recipes, I gave you links to the egg website, how good eggs are for you. All the latest research shows their benefits and nutritional value and how they've changed their philosophy on how many eggs we can eat a week and how good they are for us. Now, here's the next bit, bacon. It is a works burger. So I'm going to show you how to prepare it for the best nutritional value. Now, this really is a discretionary food, but because it's Junk Food Friday, that's why it's in there. And it's the preparation that counts. Did you see that little pinch I just did on the end? Keep pinching around and have a look at how easy it is to prepare your bacon for a better, more nutritional, lower fat means of eating. Just like that. Look at that. We've taken all that fat off. Now you still get some treats within there. I'm going to slice it in half. That way it's going to fit nicer on my burger. That one's ready. So we'll do it one more time with this piece, pinching around the edge, removing as much fat as possible. And remember why it's a discretionary food. It's not just the fat. There's all the preservatives that are in it that make it bacon as well. So those things like nitrates, which they consider them to be carcinogenic, and that's why we can only eat bacon as a sometime food. So that is going into the bin. Now, let me get this fat off my hands and I'm going to show you the veggie component. So, for the greens, we have these amazing homegrown baby spinach. So I hope you've been working on that since we talked last. Homegrown baby spinach and homegrown rocket. So some nutritional value, not just lettuce, which really just contains water. So you'll see how I build the plate up with that as we go to make it look attractive. So for your burger, you can, if you wish, have bread, but I don't, because once again, I believe in balance and compromise. I've got carbohydrates in the oven cooking, my hot chips. So if I didn't have the hot chips, I probably would put it with some wholemeal or rye bread. But I'm not going to have that bread because I've got some carbohydrates there in the oven. So what I do is I build a nice little salad on my plate. Then I'm going to have my burger pile on the top. And you'll see that, well, I put it beside it so it doesn't wilt the salad too much. And it makes a nice little combo. So I build this nice little stack like it's on a bun. And I don't use tomato sauce. So I think you'll remember from last time we talked about tomato sauce, how I feel about it. High sugar. You might as well get a spoonful of sugar and eat it if you're going to eat tomato sauce. Fresh tomato. So I even use the ends. I just eat those while I'm preparing my food. So tomato goes on the top. And then I'm a good old-fashioned Aussie. I can't have a burger without beetroot. Don't we love those little surveys? Actually, if you head to my Facebook, I might even put one on there to see hamburger, beetroot or no beetroot, and get people's opinion. Because people are slowly changing. Less and less people want beetroot on their burger. So I love pickle on my burger as well. Maybe you don't. Poor old McDonald's suffered with that over the years, haven't they? But for me, I love to get that nice little sour hit on my burger. So there's my pickle. Next component is nice bit of onion. Now, in the blog, I've given you the option, fried onion. Sometimes I want fried onion. Sometimes, especially in summer, you cannot beat a bit of fresh Spanish onion, thinly sliced on that burger. So I'm having Spanish onion. And I just like to sprinkle it on the top like so. There we go. Spanish onion. Be good. Yep. All right, we're up to my favourite bit now. A little bit of cheese. And I say a little bit. So per day, we should have about a matchbox size piece of cheese. That's our dairy allowance with cheese. Matchbox size piece of cheese. If you want more information on that, head to the Australian Guide for Healthy Eating and they'll go through serving sizes for things like cheese. So head over to the Australian Guide for Healthy Eating. It'll be on the blog. You'll be able to just hit the link to get straight to it. Now with my cheese, I like it on the hot part. So I put my cheese where I'm going to put my burger patty. And of course, it's got to be tasty cheese. But once again, you put whatever favourite cheese you might like. Maybe you like Swiss. Maybe you like Edam. Make sure it's your favourite though. So then over this side, you're going to see the little burger stack later on with the hot beef and bacon. One more component that I need to get ready for the barbecue. No Australian hamburger is complete without this. Just give me a minute to get my knife cleaned up. All right, so my favourite component of a burger with a lot, fresh pineapple. Please try not to buy the tin stuff. Obviously in winter, it's really hard to get fresh pineapple, but sometimes in winter, you can get these little ones from Queensland. They come in from Queensland and they're sweeter than the summer ones because it's still hot up there. So double check, try as much as you can, especially if you've got kids. Get the fresh, real thing. So your kids don't grow up thinking pineapple comes out of a tin. So really easy to prepare. Even if it had the green top on, so these ones come without the green top, but if it had the green top on, all you have to do is wiggle it, pinching at the bottom, snap it off. Then take off that top 1 centimetre because it is quite hard and the outer skin does tend to go through, especially if you've got kids. They won't tend to like that. But creating the perfect slice to char grill on the barbecue and caramelize those sugars is the best for a hamburger. So you don't cut it too thin. And the next best component, when you're char grilling it, you don't need to cut out that little hard woody center. When that char grills on the barbecue, it softens and has more flavor than the outer meat. So that's the best way if your pineapple is being prepared for the barbecue to go. Now, while I'm cutting the pineapple, an amazing dessert with the leftovers, if you wanted to do a good old Australia Day dessert, is using the barbecue on the hot plate side, and you get your pineapple and you dash a little bit of really hot plate, have it preheated for at least 10 minutes, little bit of Bundaberg rum onto the hot plate with your fresh pineapple slice on top of the rum, let it caramelize in it. Then serve it with some natural vanilla bean ice cream, and that makes an amazing dessert to go with your burger combo for Australia Day to stick with that Australian theme. So they're my pineapple rings ready to go for the barbecue. So you've seen how easy it is to get that skin off, making sure you don't leave any of those hard little core bits in, turning your children off, and sometimes people off as well. So don't make them too thick. All right, when we start char grilling, I'll show you how that's going to work. From there, we're going to knead the mince up once it's time to go on. So we don't need to do it yet. So I'm going to let those chips keep cooking, clean up my mess, and then about 10 minutes before the chips are cooked, I'm going to get cooking on the barbie so it can all be served together. So I'll see you in a short while. All right, so the chips are about 15 minutes off. The barbie's nice and hot. Have a look at that. Oh, that's what you want to get it up to. So kneading of the meat. I'm going to take half the meat because this is for 2 patties. So I'm going to take half that meat squeezing the blood out so it's not too juicy. And I'm just kneading it because what the kneading does is it develops the proteins in the meat and it helps it form the patty. You don't need egg and breadcrumbs and all those things. Pure beef. Now, that is a barbecue egg ring. That's the sizing of it. Okay, barbecue egg ring. Buy them in the shops, anywhere, homeware. Push it into your plate, into the ring. Pack it in nice and firm, part of the kneading process to keep developing the protein. From there, the first thing that goes on is the pineapple, because the pineapple takes the longest. Nice and hot. The second thing that goes on are your eggs, because they take just as long as the pineapple. No oil, notice, just paper. From there, meat patty is next. Ring comes off. Beautiful. Look at that thickness. That'll help to keep it medium rare if you like it that way. Shape up that next patty. Squeezing the blood out of it. And then forming it into the ring. And there you have it. See, it's holding shape, not falling apart, no need for breadcrumbs or egg into that meat. Onto there in the hot section. Now, when I turn the meat patties and the pineapple over is when I put the bacon on. So for now, we're just going to sit tight, put the lid down, let them cook. All right, so in the recipe, I talk about, in the blog, the edges turning brown. So this is how it's going to look when it's time to turn. So this is for about medium rare to medium. If you want it cooked more, leave it a little longer. But before we turn, pepper. Now, I don't add salt because you've got salt in the bacon cure and you've got salt in the cheddar. So that's enough salt. Try to get used to that if you can. So you can see how little fat is in my meat that I make, because it hasn't really come off the grill that well. But it's because it's so low fat. Pineapple, let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's what you want. Nice and blackened, because that brings the natural sugars out of the pineapple. And have a look at the egg. The egg, I like mine a little softer than that. It's up to you when you take yours off. If you want it done all the way through, leave them a little longer. But for me, I've taken it a little bit too far because I like it slightly runny. So at this point, we also get that bacon on. And what you can do with the bacon is put it near the pineapple, and the fats help to add a little bit of moisture to that pineapple. Now I'm going to close that back down. Oh, first of all, I'm going to pepper this side of the meat. That's amazing. I'm going to leave it a couple of more minutes, and then that is going to be dinner ready. All right. All right, so now we're going to just construct the burger patty on the plate. Have a look at those chips. Are they amazing for the low fat content? So for me, I love my patty first on that cheese, yum. Then I love the bacon. Here we go. The bacon and the pineapple. and a nice little egg topper. So with the baking paper, the egg just peels off. Absolutely beautiful. Have a look at that. Burger with the works and a side of chips. Now that's one of the best and my favourite junk food Fridays you could have. Happy Australia Day. Enjoy, and whatever you happen to put on the barbecue for Australia Day, have a great time, and remember, moderation gets you through.